The Morning Sports Desk, available on demand on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, and WDenaradio.com.
It is the Morning Sports Desk on a Friday, the 13th of December. I'm CJ Baumgartner, Corey Tackman right next to me. Corey, Friday, that means we got some basketball, and you are going to make your first ever trip to the Nest for the first ever Staples-Motley girls basketball game in their new gym. How you feeling?
I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. An early start, by the way, for this one. There's a no JV tonight. So we get going early with the varsity game, which is good. We'll all be chomping at the bit to get going in that new gymnasium at the Nest of Staples-Motley. The girls 1-4 overall on the season. Started off the year with a nice victory over Browerville Eagle Valley, but have followed it up with 4 straight losses, all in conference, Heart of Lakes Conference games, all on the road at Holly, Pelican Rapids, Park Rapids area, and Frazee. So hoping to get off the schneid a little bit. Here are the Staples-Motley Cardinals. In the Heart of Lakes Conference standings right now, at the bottom of the pack are the Cardinals. Breckenridge and Barnesville are each undefeated. They're 3-0 in conference play. Pelican Rapids has 1 loss. Frazee and DGF are each 2-2. Perham and Park Rapids area 1-2. Holly 1-3, and Staples-Motley there at 0-4. The Menahga Braves are 4-0 to start this season with victories over Mahnomen-Waban, Pillager, Henning, and Bertha Hewitt, which of course means then that they're 3-0 in Park Region Conference play. They hold the top spot right now, CJ, in the PRC with that 3-0 record. However, they're not the only undefeated team in Park Region Conference play. Wadena Deer Creek is 2-0. New York Mills 1-0. Bertha Hewitt 2-1. Pillager 1-2. Sabika, Verndale, and Henning each looking for their first conference victory. So, as we mentioned, no JV game, so an early start in the Nest tonight. A 6:15 pregame with a 6:30 tip-off, an hour earlier than originally scheduled, on AM 1430 and 98.5 FM. The Fan.
The Fan. Should be a good one. And you get to kind of nestle in and make the Corey Tackman broadcast booth at the Nest.
Yeah, is that what we're going to call it?
We can, if that's what you want. Make up a name for it. I don't care.
Yeah, no, I think that sounds like a perfect option for me. Thank you very much.
Tackman Memorial Broadcast Booth?
No, that implies that I'm dead.
Well, nobody's got to know.
I don't like that as much.
From the Corey Tackman Broadcast Booth, I'm Corey Tackman. Just say it all night, like sprinkle it in all night. All right, this is Corey Tackman from the Corey Tackman Broadcast Booth signing off.
I think, if anything, we have to call it the Tyler Grunwald, don't we?
Well, see, he's got
the Hall of Fame from the Tyler Grunwald Hall of Fame broadcast booth here in the Nest.
Yeah, but Tyler's already got the football press box. He's got that spot all to himself.
That is true. That's a very good point.
So if you're gonna be following Staples-Motley this winter, so you might as well.
I'm uncomfortable with it, but I'll take it.
We're gonna bring a plaque next time, and it's gonna say the Corey Tackman Broadcast Booth.
We talked a few months ago about where quite possibly I have called more games than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
It is a 100% certainty that after tonight, no one will have called more games in the Nest than me.
Well, it depends. Has there been any opposing radio that have come for like
fun?
There's somebody over in probably somebody over in like Holly or DL or something like that that's got that title, maybe.
No, well, I don't know how many boys games have been in there.
By the end of the winter, though, you will for sure.
By the end of the month, that will probably be the case.
Although I think if I'm looking in the broadcast schedule right, I think Kyle and Dan do swing over to do wrestling in Staples. So yeah, you got to at least get 2.
Well, let's see here. When is my next?
I think you're back there next week.
I am back there. Yeah, I'll be back. Yeah, I'll be back there next week. So I'll have a nice 2-0. I'll have a nice 2-0 start on them before we get going. Yeah, you know what? Now that you say it, and mathematically it does make sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
to name it after me.
I think we get a plaque, and then we get like we have somebody give you a little write-up. Well, maybe have Zeke do it.
Yeah, sure.
There's that, like if you go into Target Field, there's the Dick Bramer broadcast booth, and then there's like a picture of Dick Bramer and like a little write-up of like Dick Bramer was a voice of the choice. So
is it going to be? Is the picture just going to be terrible though?
I mean, it can be. I think that'd be funnier. It would be like, but it's like serious. The messaging is serious in tone, but non-serious in actual substance. So it'd be like. Yeah. Corey Techman has proudly called the Cardinal games at the Nest for a staggering 2 weeks. He has been like,
well, then okay, that's good. Because on the plaque, then we could maybe do like a Velcro, and you can every week I could just bring in a game counter.
Corey has called games at the Nest for 3 weeks.
A staggering number of 2 games. Nope. 3 games.
We can build this up. I think there's a path for that.
Yeah, no, I love this. I love this idea a lot.
I think so. I think we can make it work.
Staples, get on it.
And because you could broadcast in different spots depending on your preference, I think we should make it a mobile one. Just have like one of those carts, that teachers would put like the projector on.
Yeah, you're speaking on my behalf a lot, and I really do appreciate it. Can I just advocate for myself for 1 second here?
Yeah, no, I'll let you have it.
What if this is like just a big old chain, like with a Flava Flav sort of clock sized plaque, so that way I just get it when I walk in is what I'm saying. They put it around my neck like I'm getting laid in Hawaii.
Yes,
they lay me with a plaque. And then wherever I decide to broadcast from it will be well publicized via the broadcast plaque.
So instead of Kirko chains, it's Corco chains.
You like that? You like that?
Well, I hate Corco chains. I would like to just clear that up. That's all right.
How do we do this here? There's something in there.
No, we don't need a nickname. This is already self-indulgent.
It's Taco chains.
You like that? You like that?
We'll figure this out. We'll work out the details. If you're listening, anybody from Staples-Motley, just know that it's potentially coming. We'll put this in.
If you're into any sort of fabrication at all,
yeah, you're in our crowd.
Thumbs up.
Who would be we got to figure out like a way to where you get there and they've already named it, but it's after somebody who's like done an equal amount of games in the Nest as you, and then you're just like, what?
But that name could also be in Velcro, so when I pass them, I can just rip it off.
That's true. You just take a Sharpie marker and just scribble it out.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. This is turning into just like it's just a marker board that I have to bring myself and write on.
You write permanent instead of the dry erasing. Go, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I forgot that this was a Sharpie, and then it's there. And I guess it's here forever now.
Yeah, no, that's
how it was named the Corey Techman Memorial Press Box.
No, that's exactly what we need to do.
All right, good. I think we have hashed out every nitty gritty detail of this plan. I think.
Did I marry a Staples-Motley alum for nothing? Cardinal Nation.
This is the thanks he gets.
This is a thanks I get for marrying an alum of Staples-Motley. Is a no plaque broadcast booth? I don't think so.
Instead, they'll give you $5 to the Burger King across the street.
I would accept just a slice of pizza from the concession stand once and one time only. That'd be fine too.
The piece of pizza is called like the pizza they made. It's called the Corey Techman Memorial Press Box.
That'd be fine. They could name something after me in the concession stand is way cooler than a plaque.
What would the Techman be at the concession stand? Give me the tack.
It would be a slice of pizza, but it would be a double slice.
So like 2 slices stacked on top of each other, or like 1 slice.
No, they just not, instead of cutting it into 8, they cut it into 4.
Sure.
Give me the Corey. I'll take the tack.
Take the tack. That's your do.
Yeah. Have I ever told you about the tattoo I want to get?
Maybe refresh.
The thumbtack with big beefy arms and a cape.
Oh yeah. Yes.
They could put that picture on the concession stand too.
Yeah, they just point to the picture.
Huge.
That'll work.
There's Corey. The usual.
Right
Make
there.
it 2. I'll eat a half pizza.
It'll be interesting with Staples-Motley, by the way, once their seasons get going for boys and girls basketball, playing in the Heart of Lakes, because that's going to be a new conference. And with the new conference, you just have to you adjust yourself to the environment you're in. That's true in any situation, in any context. And now they're moving from the mid-state environment into the Heart of Lakes environment. It's a different style of basketball, different teams, different ways they want to do it, different coaching. And it'll be interesting to see. It's going to take a period. I mean, it might just be all season. It might even go into next season of just trying to figure out how to adapt to that style of play. And it'll be fun to see, because Staples-Motley isn't the only team making that jump into the Heart of Lakes this year. Also going in is Park Rapids area. Had a chance to swing over there last night for girls basketball as they hosted Wadena Deer Creek. This was a rematch, Corey, of a game that took place in the playoffs, where Park Rapids area won 48-44 in the opening round of the postseason last year. I looked into the recent history since Wadena Deer Creek left the mid-state. Coming into this matchup, Park Rapids area was 7-3 in the kind of annual rivalry. They've played each other every year since, just not twice a year, except for last year when that included the postseason. Park Rapids area swept. Wadena Deer Creek trying to get back into that, and they did. They came away with a 54-50 win over Park Rapids area. These are two teams that were almost kind of identical in terms of the rough style they want, like the just kind of at a glance, 1,000-foot view style. Both teams are like gritty defense. We're going to get after it, and that's going to, kind of dictate how this game is going to be played. And in the first half, Corey, that was very evident. It was 24-17 at halftime. It was, and I mean this endearingly, it was a slog. Like, both offenses could do nothing against the defense. Park Rapids area was pressing in a zone in the first half, going man-to-man in the half court. Wadena Deer Creek playing their half court defense, man-to-man. Anybody that tried to drive in the lane was legally and cleanly getting mugged. Like, you were going in there, you're getting the ball stripped. I think one time Peyton Gravel had the ball in the low block, and there were 5 black shirts all swarming in on her. Like, it was a game where both teams were like, you can do what you want on the outside, but you're not doing anything inside or down low. We are going to make it a living nightmare for you if you're going to try and do that. Both teams want to talk with Coach Cressup. Obviously, that's the style they play, and also had a chance to talk with Park Rapids area Panther head girls basketball coach Crystal Murphy. And she said, we're gritty. We're a team that can do some stuff on that end. And it showed in the first half. Wadena Deer Creek was able to win because they made more threes than the other team. Montana Karsten got a couple. Peyton Gravel got one. Jada Dykoff was able to chip in one. They shot better from beyond the arc. But this is the stat that truly astounds me, Corey. How many free throws do you think Wadena Deer Creek shot last night?
What was the final score?
54-50, Wadena Deer Creek.
They shot 19 free throws, CJ.
More.
Okay, goodness gracious.
Yes, again.
27 free throws.
More.
What?
Yeah.
They shot 36 free throws.
Less. 35.
Jiminy Christmas.
35 free throw attempts. Wadena Deer Creek made 22 of them, roughly. That's a lot of free throws. And in a game when you, if you're Park Rapids area, you lose by 4, that's just...
Was that a good game to watch?
It was. I think what happened really is the fact...
You started like 45 minutes late, and then you had to watch one team shoot 35 free throws? What time did you leave?
I didn't get home till 11.
No kidding. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. It was parents' night last night at Park Rapids area. So it was cool. You get to see them honor their parents and stuff like that before the game. JV game took a little longer. That happens. You don't start the game till late. It happens.
How many did the Panthers shoot?
They shot 15.
There were 50 freaking free throws shot in that game.
And here's the thing. A lot of them, not, I don't know how much specifically, but a good chunk of those free throws came from the fact that Wadena Deer Creek had the bonus in their favor for most of both halves. Park Rapids area plays defense. They try to go for some steals every once in a while. You get caught with your hand in the cookie jar here and there. It added up over the course of the game. And then in the second half, when both teams are dog tired because they've been running up and down the floor on defense, pressing, turnovers left and right, like you get wore out, which means that kind of swipe that you have in the first half that leads to a steal, that's a foul in the second half. You're just a little bit slower. It's mid-December. Teams aren't in basketball shape yet.
Kind of sounds like the defensive philosophies for both teams is just foul a punch.
We applaud the hack-a-shack.
That's too many free throws.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Split them evenly. That's too many.
I haven't had a chance to talk with Coach Kress at postgame about that number of free throws, but it's very fascinating that they like.
You called that game endearingly a slog. I disagree.
It had a tempo. The free throws were a lot, but the game kind of moved up and down because there were turnovers, because there was a team pressing, because like, you know what I mean? Like it just kind of, it did slow it down. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say it didn't.
Sounds like an early season basketball game to me, CJ.
It was an early season basketball game. Coming away for Wadena Deer Creek, the player of the game was Peyton Gravel. She got 16 points, according to my unofficial count. She went to the free throw line 7 times last night.
Probably made most of them, would be my guess.
Yeah, she made more than half. The Wadena Deer Creek is a team, obviously, with that number. The percentage isn't going to look ideal, but you still made 22 free throws on the night.
That's 22 extra points.
Yeah, in a game you won by 4.
Yeah, if you don't make any of them, you got blown out.
Yeah,
astounding. You used the word astounding. That's correct.
It's a lot.
So that was the correct word.
Hallie Ishins finished with 20 points rather for Park Rapids area. She was the player of the game on that side. Scrappy bunch there with Park Rapids area. Obviously, they're trying to transition to the Heart of Lakes. They're yet to find their first conference win. It's a process too, because Park Rapids area, obviously, with Coach Murphy, first year head coach. She was a head coach for a little bit, stepped aside. She said kind of willingly just had some other stuff she needed to sort out. Came back as the head coach this year. And it's just kind of refiguring out stuff, getting kind of used to the season. And it's for Wadena Deer Creek, they're 4-0. They're a team that feels like they're in good position. And that section win is important. As much as we talk about it's an early season game and there's fouls and teams are probably more tired than they usually would be and whatnot, this game matters because Wadena Deer Creek and Park Rapids area played each other a year ago around this time, and the Wolverines lost in Wadena. And that was the tiebreaker between which team got to host the playoff game. Park Rapids area got to host it, and they won by 4 points. And you got to assume that home court advantage at least plays a little bit into that, or at least doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, as much as this game may be like, it's early season, and in a month from now, we're not really going to think about it outside of the 35 free throw attempts for Wadena Deer Creek. Like, it does matter in the end. These early season games do matter for end of season tabulation. But in terms of general vibes, you just kind of have to take the good with the bad and move on. And by January, then you kind of hope to hit your stride. But that's where Wadena Deer Creek, by the way, they didn't have a game all week for girls basketball until last night. They play tonight against New York Mills in a doubleheader, and then they also play Saturday. Catch them up.
Gotta get them in now.
They'll be conditioned by the end of that one.
I guess so.
They'll have gotten in game shape, hopefully, by that point, as does every team by the time you get to Christmas break. You hope to at least be. There's 2 types of in shape, Corey. There's in shape and then there's in basketball shape. I would get in shape during the summers when I was in high school. Like I would do conditioning. I would do stuff so I didn't throw up in football practice. And you feel like you're in shape. You get done with football practice and you're like, I got a good vibe on this. And the first time you run in basketball practice, you're like, like it's not ideal.
Haven't done that yet. I haven't sprinted
continuously for even cross-country runners, because my brother would run cross-country. And I joke with him, like, you still got to get into basketball shape, by the way. Because they may run, but running long distance is not running on a basketball court. It's a lot of bursting. It's a lot of short movements. And it's just non-stopping. But at least in running non-stopping, there's like a general, if I keep this pace, I'm okay. Basketball, that's not, if you're keeping pace, like, oh, good, I'm on my pace as the other guy's dribbling right past you.
That'd be so funny to say that to the coach. Could you imagine saying that to Coach Fink when you were in high school? Be like,
why didn't you get there? But coach, I was on my pace.
Pace. I was just ahead of pace.
He'd be like, pace yourself on the bench. Get out of my sight, as he rightfully should have said.
That's exactly what he would have said, by the way. That's exactly what he would have said.
I think he would have just kind of looked at me like, what? Go.
Sit down.
It's never a good thing in basketball when you get to that never happened to me where he looked at me like that. But one time I was on it was a basketball game my senior year. I was just on the bench sitting like trying to cheer on something. And there was like, I feel pretty reserved when I'm like on the bench, but you're trying to be vibes. You're trying to do whatever. You're trying to like, get the team going. And there was just a call one time. And I think I just went like, oh, like, cause it was a bad call. And I must've said it a little too loud, or I made some kind of audible like reaction, and Fink just kind of turns around and looks at me like, my bad. Like, sorry. I'm not trying to get you in trouble.
There's a whole lot of people who are allowed to talk to the officials before we have to get to you.
Well, look, I think the officials should listen to anybody. They should listen to the fourth guy off the bench on a 8-deep team and an 8-deep team. I think that's really what I think that's who they should be listening to.
All right, what's next?
Okay, so we look in terms of state sports. The Minnesota Timberwolves get ready to play the Lakers tonight, who don't have LeBron, who don't have Vanderbilt, who don't have Reeves, who don't have basically, I think they might actually need to call up Bronny James, unironically. Like
all it means is Davis is going to go for about 67 points tonight.
It's always funny because whenever Anthony Davis has a good game against Rudy Gobert, he goes to media and says, I'm better than Rudy Gobert. And the whole media goes, yeah, you are better than Rudy Gobert. Gobert's a fraud. And then when Gobert cooks AD in a game, everyone goes, no, I didn't see anything. What happened?
But you're not making an argument that Gobert's better than Davis, are you?
No, I mean, it's usually ends up just going to how come Anthony Davis doesn't get Defensive Player of the Year?
Because he doesn't play defense. That's not that hard to figure out.
Well, at that first game of the year when the Lakers beat the Wolves, he basically went like, I should have won Defensive Player of the Year last year. No, you shouldn't have.
Boo-hoo.
No, you shouldn't have. The Wolves got to the Western Conference Finals. What did your team do?
You were at least third on the list. Like, you were at best third on the list. Because if Rudy wasn't winning it, Wemby was winning it.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, I think he kind of understands that, because that's what you can't pick beef with the youngin yet. You got to kind of go after Gobert. Anthony Davis right now plotting against the French is what I'm.
Aren't we all?
Well, I mean, it's really not hard. They surrender pretty quickly.
It's just like a worldwide philosophy. We don't want to get political here on the morning sports desk, but aren't we all?
There's a, what was it? The AP one time was talking about how like you address, like, I think like, I want to say like insulting or like insulting language or something like that, or words to not use or something like that. Like, things in your lexicon that you should take out when referring to other groups or something along those lines. And they list thing that's bad, thing you shouldn't say, thing whatever, comma, the French, comma, next.
Yeah. I do remember that.
And everyone's like, yeah, well, I think everybody kind of understands. Hey, look, if you want us to take you more seriously, smell better. That's
the thing is the French aren't even, it's not like, to stereotype them even further, they're so self-involved that they don't even know that it's happening. They have no idea that the rest of the world says this stuff about them, because they're just like smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee at 2 p.m.
Yeah. They're just doing their own thing. Europeans, man. My parents had a European foreign exchange student when I was in high school. He was my age. And good guy. Talk to him every once in a while. Obviously, there's just certain things he'll do or say, and I'll just look at my family and go, European, and just walk away. Like, there's nothing other than like, we just have a completely different mindset in this part of the world compared to there. There's things they do. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I just look at them and go,
probably wrong though. They do go one thing right though, and that's the siesta, or whatever it's called in French or any of the other countries.
The Audubon.
No, that's a road in Germany. I mean, like an afternoon of doing nothing.
Yeah.
I can't right now. It's tea time in England. It's a siesta in Spain. It's whatever it is. They're just like, it's mid-afternoon. Leave me alone for the next 2 hours.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, do the French actually do anything though? Like every day is that for them?
They eat baguettes.
And
Oh.
too busy planning out being comically evil characters in a Lucky Charms commercial or something.
Ironing their beret. All right. Any other international fires we'd like to start?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I want to do just rail against bad news design of web pages because my goodness, I'm on the KARE 11 news page to try and look at an article.
Yep.
And I can't look at the article. They say, before you leave, check this out. And they have all these different things that I can click on to go to their website, but there's no way to get out of it.
Nice.
You just click away, but there's no like X. So they kind of just lie to you that there's no way to get out of it. I mean, good journalism is being, I'm not actually being facetious. There's good journalism out there in local news that's being ruined by crappy web design. It's really bad.
Can I tell you a thing that happened to me last night that also I didn't appreciate?
Sure.
I was trying to find, most nights during the week, I try to flip on Huddle and find a high school game. That is my entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to say who I was which game I was trying to find, but it was an area school. And they had it's the first time I've ever encountered this. It's the only school I've ever encountered this with, where they had all of their games locked out, and the only way to see them was to pay for the subscription. You could pay for the one game, or you could pay for a monthly subscription. It's the only school I've encountered on Huddle that does it that way.
Did you even look? How much was it per game?
$7. Almost $7, between $6 and $7. 25 bucks for the month.
Okay.
How about no? I messaged the school. I was like, you're the only school that does this, right? I did. I actually messaged them. I wrote an angry letter. They responded right away.
Did they respond with thanks for reaching out? We'll get back to you in our earliest, like some of those things.
Well, I was like, how do I watch this? And then they sent the link and said, you may have to subscribe. And then I responded back with, you're the only school that does this.
Yeah. By the way,
I didn't watch it.
This is an aside to a different thing. Somebody in Atlanta messaged like Kirk Cousins on like Facebook or like Instagram or something, like I think maybe it was Instagram, and just kind of went like, can we get a refund for the contract? Blah, 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 blah. And that's whatever. Fans are going to do that. That's annoying. Don't message the guy personally, like whatever. But it's that Kirk Cousins account had like how a business has like a, thanks for your response, we'll get back to you. And then like,
yeah.
like a bot response. Not that, just that like,
how kind of you to think about reaching out.
Yeah.
For public appearance requests, please email.
For public appearance requests, here's my fee. And if you want me to take my shirt off with the chains, that's an extra $50.
Yes. To tweak my nipples, you can double it.
Okay. Well,
how weird could we make Kirk Cousins DMs go via an automated response?
Look, man, it's the internet. They're already weird. There's nothing I can top. There's some weirdo's done something out there where he's probably had to hire a private security to follow his wife around.
Yeah.
It's not great out there.
Shirt on, jeepers.
In one area, things are getting a little better. KARE 11 and the Minnesota Timberwolves announced over the last couple days that KARE 11 and the Wolves are going to broadcast 5 games over the air television during this season on Channel 11.
Okay.
So obviously you can't watch them anywhere else because unless you have a very specific provider, you don't get the FanDuel Sports Network North. It rolls off the tongue, really. And of course, unless they're playing on ESPN, you can't watch them. So now this is a way to bring some of the local games on KARE 11, and it hasn't said yet. Oh, here we go. Here's what the days are. So for these games, it looks like it's Saturday, December 21st, next Saturday against the Warriors, February 8th against the Trailblazers, March 9th against the Spurs, March 16th, a Sunday against the Jazz, April 13th against the Jazz as well. So outside of the Warriors, they're not like big ticket, kind of mano a mano games, but I think the Wolves are testing the waters. The Twins are kind of getting thrown out into the fire because they're the first ones to have to do it. The Wolves are going to have to do the same thing the Twins are, and so are the Wild. But the Wolves just get the benefit of having other people screw up and kind of seeing what works and what doesn't. And I feel like this is a trial balloon for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Well, they have one of the I don't know, dozen guys in the league that most people are interested in seeing what he does every single night.
Uh-huh.
And they're trying to ride the high of a Western Conference. Like, they gotta, if they know anything from baseball, it's that you cannot help your product if it's not available to people.
Right. And
not available. It's still not available. So shout out, are these games, this is like a simulcast with the FanDuel Sports Network. These were games that weren't going to be on anyway. These are nationally televised games that they're just airing locally. Why these games?
It will be a simulcast of FanDuel Sports Network's telecast, which means you get Michael Grady, you get Jim Pete, you maybe get Marnie Gellner, you get the crew.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I mean, the Twins used to do this they put games, it's called Fox 9 Plus now, but the Sunday games are always on My 29.
Mm-hmm.
That was the way before kind of cable before you couldn't just use the rabbit ears on the TV. That was the way for, hey, even if you don't have cable, you can still watch the Twins every Sunday.
Yeah, they were simulcast, but they were on that other network. Yeah,
exactly. And obviously, just market factors switched away to that. But there's no reason that. And by the way, the fact that the Twins didn't find a way to do this at all is just malpractice. I get that it takes two to tango, but you don't think Fox 9 Plus would have gladly aired a Twins game on a Sunday afternoon? Like,
you mean like they did for like 20 years, 30?
Exactly. So I wonder now, because they're on the Twins TV.tv or MLB.tv, I wonder if now they'll be like, hey, maybe we could do this a little bit if you don't want to, but then they're going to go, oh, but we got to do it so people will subscribe. In which case I will say that doesn't work.
They won't.
As a Bemidji State alum, they used to have all of their games on Lakeland, the PBS station in town. And it was cool. You could watch the games, all of them, on TV. They would do a broadcast. It would be great. And then because attendance at the Sanford Center wasn't where they wanted it to be, they're like, well, maybe if we take the games off of the TV, people will have no choice. If they want to go watch Beaver hockey, they got to go to the arena. In which case, people didn't go to the arena because now they took it away. Now people aren't even thinking about them. Like,
they took their ball and went home.
And guess what? Nobody followed them home.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because it's your home. You don't want me? All right. I'll stay home.
I'll find something else to do.
Your home. Yeah. It's just a terrible philosophy. So that's nice. That'll be nice that they'll be on KARE 11. They have a number of nationally televised games, do the Wolves this year?
Yeah, a good number of them. Making a Western Conference Finals helps that.
Yeah, totally. And so to throw them on KARE 11, for me anyway, there's like a reasonable amount of Timberwolves games. That being said, every single nationally televised game they've had so far this year, I have had other things that night. So I've still seen 0 Timberwolves games this year.
Yeah, that was a part of my schedule, was to make sure Corey was working during every nationally televised Wolves
Literally
game.
Every single one so far.
I think that's going to do it. This is the Morning Sports Desk on a Friday, the 13th of December.
The Morning Sports Desk, available on demand on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, and WDenaRadio.com.